Frequently asked questions about getting your tubes tied, speed edition. I have a whole playlist on tubals that goes way more into depth, but let's talk about some commonly asked questions. Can you just do a hysterectomy? I don't really need my uterus anymore. So for sterilization, we won't do a hysterectomy or removal of the uterus typically because it's not medically indicated. A hysterectomy is a much bigger and much riskier surgery than a tubal ligation. So if this is just for sterilization, it's much safer to just remove the fallopian tubes. Will my insurance cover this? It sounds expensive. So per the Affordable Care Act, sterilization actually needs to be covered by your insurance, and that includes Medicaid. There may be some costs associated with like anesthesia and other hospital bills like that, but the sterilization itself should be covered. If there's no laws about sterilization, why are doctors telling patients there are? I don't actually know why doctors are telling people this. I think there are some reservations about sterilizing younger patients because there are increased risks of regret in this population. But I do find it a little bit paternalistic for doctors to make that decision for their patients. Patients have to accept that risk of regret themselves. And I think sometimes it's easier to blame like insurance companies or the law than having like frank discussions with patients. So maybe that's why people are being told these lies about husbands consenting or being a certain age or having certain children, but none of those things are actually true. I regret getting my tubes tied. Can mine be reversed? Risk of regret definitely happens for people who've gotten their tubals done. There are certain populations who can get their tubals reversed. If you had a partial salpingectomy or the Filshie clips or the fallope rings, those could be reversed. But if you had a bilateral salpingectomy, so full removal of the fallopian tubes, those are non-reversible. If you're in that situation where you regret having your sterilization done, I would Google tubal reversal in the city that you're in and see how much it costs to have it done with them. Typically, it's $5,000 to $10,000 out of pocket. What will my periods be like after I get my tubes tied? If you're currently on some form of hormonal birth control and you stop that after your tubal, your periods are going to go back to their normal, non-managed state. So if you had painful periods before you were on birth control and then you stop it after your tubal, your periods are going to go back to that painful state. A lot of my patients whose periods are being managed well with birth control but want the security of a tubal, I recommend if they want to continue taking their birth control, leave their Mirena in, keep taking their patch, whatever works for them. Some people want that tubal so they don't have to be on hormones. Great option. Just remember your periods will just go back to what they naturally are. What other questions do you have?